You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
Rolling. Roll. Don't use any of this. Don't.
Okay, carry 3.
They love you. You know.
This is Princess Leia Organa. You're listening to Planet Leia.
Permission is granted to land on Planet Leia. Brought to you by Fantha Tracks. Here are your hosts, Clair Henry and Johanna Nybelius.
Welcome to the latest episode of Planet Leia with myself, Clair Henry, and my co-host.
Johanna Nybelius.
See, now she's got her married name written in there too. I can see that now. It's even on her Facebook profile if you look it up too. Yay. It's been a while since we've been on air. Christmas came and all the things that happen in life in between. Now we're back, full force, ready to tackle another new year of Star Wars.
And we are really looking forward to it because there are some really exciting things that are happening. I think it will be a great year for any Star Wars fan.
I think what's coming up this year is going to be awesome. So we decided as a collective, the pair of us at Planet Leia, that we wouldn't do any New Year's resolutions. We wouldn't do any New Year, New You, none of that nonsense. Because New Year, New You just means I'm going to rehash the old and try and do it and then fail miserably. But we're definitely focusing this episode on New Year and Star Wars and what we're both looking forward to coming up. And as Johanna said, there is a wealth of Star Wars content coming our way.
But shouldn't we talk a bit about what happened just at the end of the last year? I'm thinking about the makeup.
Well, yes, let's talk about the makeup, please.
Yes, let's do that.
British makeup designer Pat McGrath launched her second phase of her Star Wars X collection. It was brought to my attention by a friend of mine who messaged me and said, "Doesn't your brother work at Selfridges?" "Yes, he does." "Oh, can he get down to the makeup counter pretty quickly?" And I said, "I'm sure he can." And lo and behold, there they were in all their glory, the eyeshadow palettes for Pat McGrath. Did you buy?
I haven't bought anything. I mean, things like Christmas gifts, things like that happen. So no, didn't get a chance to buy anything. But I mean, I have looked at it and I really love it. It's exactly my shades. The eyeshadow is so beautiful. I would love to have that palette.
So I have to say, I do have the other palettes from the other collection and I use them a lot. Some of them are very wacky colours. Perhaps not necessarily things that I would use, but I have to say thanks to my brother who I messaged him to say, could you get me the Mothership Midnight Sun Star Wars edition, which is the big palette with Darth Vader and Luke and Leia and Han in the front, obviously celebrating Return of the Jedi. He then took an executive decision while he was at the counter. He saw the other two palettes, the one with R2-D2 and the other one with C-3PO in it and Darth Vader. And he bought me those as well.
Yeah.
And the colours in them, they are day-to-day wearable. They're muted nudes, browns, sparkly, shall we say, blacks and blues as well. They're lovely.
And it should be said why this is such a beautiful collection. It is also because of the artwork on the outside. Even when you have used up all the makeup, this is something that you can proudly have in the bathroom or among your Star Wars collection because it's a really unique and beautiful piece of art.
Pat McGrath and her collections of stuff that she does is just sublime. And the artwork, whoever does her artwork and everything for it, they hit it right. It looks sophisticated. It looks expensive. It is expensive. But if you were to buy something from, I don't know, Dior or any other top-end brand makeup, you would be paying that much for a palette that size anyway. And to have it that big, you could actually frame some of the artwork on it. It's just wonderful. It doesn't have that, how can I put this, cheapness of maybe some of the other makeup collaborations that have happened. I'm thinking particularly the CoverGirl one that I've seen, and some, to be fair, of the Her Universe makeup collections. But this is just fantastic.
And it's so much because of the artwork, because it looks so good.
Yeah. And I'm going to say the wearability. I had a discussion with Vicky, my friend, about it. And she says, I'm not sure whether I'm going to use it or not. And I went, oh, I 100% am. I 100% am. It is absolutely beautiful. I have actually bought the mascara because I was in need of a new mascara anyway. And I thought, well, I'll give this one a go because it's obviously her normal mascara rebranded in a Star Wars packaging. But, you know, why not? It's reasonably priced, £30. It'll last for a long time, you know, might get me through to Celebration.
That was the one thing that I wasn't really interested in, because I can only wear black mascara because for some reason my eyelashes are so dark that I can never get any color on them, even if I'm using. I've had it in my youth when I tried using colored mascaras, and I'm not sure that I would actually like to go around with C-3PO because, I mean, the mascara looks like C-3PO.
4 different types. There's the blue, the green, and something else. And I thought, no, but there is a black. Darth Vader black, apparently. So I shall let you know in due course what it's like. And I did buy the nude lip gloss because my daughter keeps nicking my other nude lip gloss. I have to say, I did buy that. So hopefully it'll all last until Celebration. But well done to Pat McGrath again on an absolutely stunning makeup collection. That was something that I didn't know I needed until I saw it come out in December. And I'm not going to lie, I did get it for Christmas.
Hi, this is Annabelle, and you are listening to Fanta Tracks.
The new year has already started with the Bad Batch season 2, which of course I've seen that a lot of people like. Now, none of us are really into animation, so I haven't watched any Clone Wars. I watched some Rebels, so for that reason I can't really say anything about the Bad Batch. But from what I've heard, if you like the animation, if you like Clone Wars, and if you like Bad Batch, you're still gonna love Bad Batch season 2.
It's not one of ours. I did watch Rebels when my daughter was younger. She loved it. So I got into that quite heavily with her. But as she's grown older and is now moving on to the Big Bang Theory, animations have kind of dwindled in our house, shall we say. So, yeah, I haven't watched it. I know it's out every Wednesday. And I can see from everybody's reviews and all the different forums that if you like it, it's absolutely brilliant. But we're more into the live action TV.
Yeah.
1 more month until the season 3 of The Mandalorian. I'm assuming you've watched all the adverts so far?
Yes, so far. We have seen the teaser trailer, and I mean, this is going to be really interesting where they're going with the story. I mean, now it seems like it's not going to be as much of like the Lone Ranger out by himself in the Outer Rims. I mean, now we're really starting to turn into how does the Mandalorian and Grogu fit into the wider story of the galaxy.
I think it looks to me like the Western feel of the original Mandalorians seems to have gone. It's now looking at Mandalore as a whole, the whole feel of being a Mandalorian. It was great to hear Emily Swallow's voice, the armorer, because she's very much, isn't she, the cult of the Mandalorian and Mandalore, and how the culture of the Mandalorians has been developed, and she was very much the keeper of that, from what I can gather. We then cut into Bo-Katan and Katie Sackhoff's character, and almost the tease she makes of the Mandalorian and what you thought you and your dad were the only Mandalorians.
Yeah.
You know, the jibes are there, and how is he going to fit into this group of people who don't follow Mandalore's laws, you know, with their taking their helmets off, they've got their helmets off, etc. Are we going to see more of the Mandalorian without his helmet, etc.? So it's going to be an interesting take, I think.
I definitely think it's going to be interesting. And to be fair, I think they need to go in some other direction. I mean, you can't keep going on with just him and Grogu on their own adventures, because of course you can do if you want to keep it like a simple serial, but if you want to keep it interesting and keep more conflict that is more than just an episode, I think you need to go and let them get into the more of the larger story of the galaxy.
And I think it will tie in nicely with all the previous history of what we know about Mandalore and Mandalorians from other TV series and from comics and books, etc. So we'll be able to see those links and everything doing it. It can't keep being a little hobo series anymore. That's where it was going to go. If it was going to go down that route of Grogu and the Mandalorian go out off on an adventure. I think you're right. I think it has to become slightly more complex. It has to become slightly more in tune with the bigger pictures and linking it to the Star Wars universe and linking it to the films, etc.
But then, of course, now I am curious about now with the next season. I mean, the last season you had Ahsoka, and then you had, of course, the so cool Luke Skywalker scenes.
Yeah.
What will they do in season 3? Can like keep up with that kind of suspense and also the kind of like fan interaction, like giving the fans what they want, that it's so big. So, I mean, now when we can go into that, I mean, we are getting the Ahsoka TV series. So, I mean, she will be in a series of her own this year.
And what I do hope is that Ahsoka doesn't become Mandalorian 3.5. Which is kind of what a bit like the Book of Boba Fett became, was the Mandalorian 2.2, wasn't it, really?
But there you have if we go over to Ahsoka, what we do know is that Hayden Christensen will be back as Darth Vader. So that means that it probably is, I mean, it's not set with the Mandalorian scene. It's probably more in between the films or around the film. I mean, since Vader's going to be there. I'm hoping that he will actually be there and it's not just going to be looking back.
I'd like to hope that it's not going to be that flashback scenes. You know, we want it as we saw it in Obi-Wan, face-to-face conflict, face-to-face turmoil, because that also then gives more clout to why Vader does do the things that he does in Return of the Jedi, why he does decide to choose his son over the Emperor, etc., etc. So, you know, I feel that it would be a good link to it, and particularly in this year of the anniversary, you know, it all seems to be tied in quite nicely.
And of course, there you have as well, if we now in Ahsoka gets to see Vader without any redeeming qualities, I mean, then his redemption in Return of the Jedi will be so much bigger, because even in Obi-Wan, you still had a bit of old Anakin, you could see that, but to see and the
flashbacks to the Jedi Temple and everything that kind of humanized him, it made it think like, oh, there's our Annie back. Really what we want is big bad evil Vader.
We want Rogue One Vader, who just cut through everything in his hunt for whatever he wants.
Absolutely. We want evil Vader, and we know, and we've seen in Obi-Wan that Hayden can portray that very well. So I think that will be a good one to do. And Sabine Wren obviously will be showing in Ahsoka. And again, that's obviously a link which a lot of people will be very happy to see, and to see her character. It will be interesting to see how that character is played. You know, we've seen her as a Mandalorian and with the Darksaber, etc. So it'll be interesting to see how that link all goes. And then will we be seeing the Ghost crew from the Rebels? Now, I know that we said that we don't really watch the animations, but this is one that I have invested time in, and I actually liked the characters in it.
What I've seen in animation is from Rebels, and I liked Rebels, and also from my time playing X-Wing, the miniature game, I really liked using some of the characters there. So yes, I'm looking forward to seeing them. From what I remember now, you have Sabine Wren, but also Ezra Bridger is confirmed, but not the other ones, which also could be a bit of clue of when is it set. We know that in Rogue One, for example, you have the General Syndulla is called out in the background.
I'm hoping for a glimpse of Chopper, the droid from Rebels, maybe in there too. So that would be quite a good one, I think, in there to add to the mix of droids that we've seen so far in the live action series. I think, though, we do have to go back to The Mandalorian for one other thing. Pele Motto is back. The big question obviously is will we have Jawa sex in there?
How explicit will Disney Plus go?
Yeah.
Will they give us the answers to the questions that we have never asked about Jawas?
How do they do it, and why on earth would you do it with one, particularly if they eat those disgusting eggs and apparently they smell really badly?
Maybe the eggs are like the Viagra for the Jawas, so they get really
and go for
on it afterwards.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that Pele reveals a little bit more about Jawas and their relationships and how it all works. But yeah, I think that would be quite a funny one. And then obviously moving into late 2023, we haven't heard anything really about this yet, but I am hoping that we do when we get to Celebration and we get to see the trailer teaser for it, The Skeleton Crew.
I'm so curious about The Skeleton Crew. I shouldn't hide the fact that I love Jude Law.
Yes, well, you know what? You and me both. We can.
Jude Law in Star Wars is like, yes, I don't need to watch Harry Potter to see Jude Law.
I am with you on that one.
But the fact is that we don't know anything. I mean, it's about like some youths that are trying to find their way home.
We know it's set after Return of the Jedi, so before The Force Awakens. Are they going to be the Force-sensitive kids that are wheedled out? Who knows? But what I do know is that Jude Law's in it. Tick.
That's enough for me as well.
That's enough for me. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping he's going to be there at Celebration. He will be there at Celebration, won't he?
I'm actually hoping that a Skeleton Crew panel will be like, they will have their own panel, not just like a future panel, but something, because we want more. And apparently, I mean, they filmed it last year, so it should be well into post-production. Bring it on.
Unfortunately, no news yet about Andor or Obi-Wan for this up and coming year, but I'm sure we'll get teasers about that coming up. I would like to hope, and this is obviously about what we hope as well that we will see in 2023. So I would like to see something linked to Andor. I wouldn't actually mind a book.
We want more about Andor and the whole birth of the rebellion era. Now, looking at what's known and the release schedule for the books, it doesn't look good for any tie-in to Andor. I mean, it's obvious when looking at the book schedule that it's the High Republic that's the thing that they are really going forward with when it comes to the books.
I get that. That's sort of a teen fiction thing. It seems to be gripping a new generation of Star Wars fans.
Well, with the High Republic, you have both. I mean, it's such a multimedia experience. You have both the comics, you have the young adult novels, and you have the adult novels as well. So it's really everything combined. I must say, I love the idea of High Republic when it was announced. I love the artwork. It's exactly what I would love to read about and just watch, and I mean, probably make some kind of costume from High Republic. But I simply haven't had the time. I haven't read any Star Wars books in years. And I'm having the idea that one day I will sit down and read through the whole High Republic, because I'm really curious and it looks good. And I totally understand that they are focusing on it, but I am definitely missing some Andor tie-in with the novels. And I mean, it should be easy now. You have Andor, you have Mandalorian, you have Kenobi, and Andor and Kenobi aren't that far apart. To make something that you could read about these characters would be so nice.
And the thing about it is all the spin-off novels that we've had linked to anything like Catalyst or The Princess and the Scoundrel or any of the Leia novels or any of those sort of things, they have been fantastic, excellent in their execution and their explanation of the wider concepts that are around these characters, Jyn Erso's character, Leia's character. I really want something about Mon Mothma to come out based around that whole turmoil time that we're seeing at the minute in Andor, or even what happens to Mon Mothma between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. There is nothing about her in those bits, but then she pops up in Return of the Jedi as clearly one of the most influential leaders of the rebellion. Where and how did that come from? If anybody's listening in Star Wars Bookland, we would like some announcements, celebration linked to books to Andor, Mon Mothma, Obi-Wan, etc. We'd like to see a little bit more of that.
With the old Legends EU, you had a very fleshed out era. You knew a lot of what was going on in between the original trilogy and around it and how the rebellion was born. We don't have that now. And it's such a fascinating era. You have so many fascinating characters. You have so many fan favorite characters that they could really just make something big out of. bring us more Birth of Rebellion books.
Yeah, and I quite like those one-off books because, as you say, to read a series of books like The High Republic, you need the time. And I'm not going to lie, I am a woman of a certain age. I sit down, try to watch something, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Off I go to bed, all full of intentions. I'm going to give up social media. I'm not going to look at my phone. I don't even get a chance to look at my phone or social media because the thing I know is my head hits the pillow when I'm asleep. I need one-offs, achievable books that I can get my teeth into.
For everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video and social media feeds, bookmark FanthaTracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
Another thing that I'm missing from this year, really any celebration of Return of the Jedi, is 40th anniversary. I mean, you did have the art of the original trilogy books, but it's getting a bit old. I mean, it should be possible to make something just about Return of the Jedi.
Agreed. There's not been a lot of interest or display about it. But again, you would like to hope that will come to fruition in celebration, because we have seen that the merch that you can buy in advance is linked to it, so that's something that they need to focus on and get their head around.
Isn't that a thing that I wouldn't be too surprised for a celebration, that they don't really have any official program so much about the Return of the Jedi, but they will have the merch and you will have a lot of fans celebrating that it's the 40th anniversary. I definitely think we will see a very heavy focus on Return of the Jedi. And I'm
hoping that they do what they did for a couple of celebrations, show it in full on a big screen.
But this is also interesting. I mean, we've had a few anniversary theme celebrations, or at least celebrations where you have taken on that it's an anniversary theme, but we haven't had anything like that in Europe. Now, Celebration Europe in Essen was in 2013, so it was the Return of the Jedi anniversary, but I don't have any memory that they did anything special about it.
The only thing they did was show it in the park.
Yeah, but nothing else. No panels. I don't remember any merch or artwork or anything in connection. I bought a magnet with Return of the Jedi artwork. I have it on my fridge.
That's pretty poor. And I do remember in Chicago, wasn't it the anniversary of the prequels?
Yeah, that was the Phantom Menace. It was lackluster. Now, they do claim that there was something about it, the fact that it was a snowstorm and you couldn't get the main secret guest in. But that's the thing. When they've done large anniversary things, it has been in the US. Are they going to do that for Europe now? Or are they just gonna, just do the merch, but don't bring in any extra panels or anything like that?
It'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be one of those things that we'll have to wait and see about. And obviously we'll move on to, this is one of the things that we are very much looking forward to this year.
Yeah, very much looking forward. We might sound a bit pessimistic, but no, we're so looking forward, especially since none of us were in Anaheim, so we haven't been out to a celebration since Chicago in 2019.
We have some exciting news to announce on Planet Leia. Do you want to break the good news then?
It's the fact that we have actually been accepted, so you will get a chance to hear us live on the HoloNet stage at Star Wars Celebration.
Yay! You can come and see us live, talking fun and games and Jawa sex on the Star Wars. No, I won't be. On the HoloNet.
I'm not sure. We didn't write that in our pitch that we're
no, we didn't. No, we didn't.
I don't think we did.
No. I think we'll get away with that one quite easily. But we have been selected as one of the podcasts for the HoloNet news stage in Celebration. So Johanna and I will be bringing Planet Leia live, and we will be talking pretty much like we are now, but with our focus obviously being on the anniversary and birthday celebrations of your Return of the Jedi.
We will have a very big focus on Return of the Jedi, and of course especially the women of Return of the Jedi, because there are so many interesting women, there are so many personalities, so I think we will have a really good show. And
we'd love you to come along and see us on the stage and join in and on the fun and frivolities and chat. It's going to be a good laugh. And if anything, if Celebration don't make a thing of the Return of the Jedi, I can assure you we will.
And we might throw in some makeup, fashion
and things we've seen around the show.
Yeah.
We are going to do a supermarket sweep live cast or live show of what we can see in Celebration. So that will be quite fun. So yes, So that's our big news for Celebration, obviously, is being part of it, which will be wonderful.
Yeah.
Obviously, for ourselves, there's so much more to Celebration, inside Celebration and outside Celebration.
Yeah. This Celebration, I mean, it has been so for every year, but now I feel like there are more parties than ever, and ticketed events after hours as well.
We could basically party, Johanna, from Wednesday all the way through to Monday night if we wanted to. I can tell you where you'll find me on the after parties. So you'll find me at Bunta Eve on the Thursday night, #Cantina 2 on the Sunday night at the O2. And then the other nights, I'm hoping to be at the Fox, just beside the Excel Centre. Great nights. I'm looking forward to them. I do have my 14-year-old daughter in tow and my husband. So I felt that there's only so many parties that we can abandon my child. So I went for those Bunta Eve because I haven't done a Bunta Eve before. So I'm quite looking forward to that, seeing everybody there.
And I'm actually mostly planning on just sitting at the Fox or some other pub and just hang out and see what people are going to show up and have a fun time with them. I mean, that's also different now, I feel, with the Celebration right now in London. The hotels feel so much more spread out. For the last few celebrations, we have been in the main hotel and you've had everyone there. But now it feels like it was impossible to get an affordable room at the closest hotel. So people are more spread out. So it will be interesting to see what will the place be where you just meet up with the people you just meet for celebrations.
We've managed to bag the Premier Inn, which is a budget hotel, but it's right beside the Excel Centre. That's where we're staying. And it's only a stone throw away from the Fox, which is great. And I can jump on the tube to the Cantina. I do have to say about Cantina, just as a small plug for it, it's looking to be a good night if anybody wants to go to it. We've got DJ Elliott, who everybody knows from the Star Wars Celebration stage. Level Up Leroy, who is absolutely brilliant. Again, a nerd geek DJ who had the honour and privilege of having at a party last year for my husband. Sad times for Darth Elvis fans. This will be his last live performance as Darth Elvis. Blues Harvest will be there too, the Jazz and Blues Star Wars themed band by our own Fantha Andy. And then the other reason why I'm going is that the main act is Ash. I love Ash. I have known Ash since I was 18. I'm now nearly 50. And I knew them as a fledgling band in Northern Ireland because that's where they're from. I don't know them personally, but I do have a connection in that I taught with one of their mums in a small primary school in Northern Ireland. And anytime I've been to the concerts, I've seen his mum there jumping around, giving it her all, which is quite funny. The last time actually I saw Ash was at a big homecoming concert for another Northern Ireland band called Snow Patrol, but Ash absolutely smashed it. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. So if you do want a night out, and because I do believe that most of the other events have all sold out, tickets are going fast for this one too, so get to see Cantina 2 on the Sunday night.
Hi, this is George Mann and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
That's all the things that are happening outside. What are we hoping for inside?
At this time we don't really know much, and I feel like you can't really calculate what's going to be the main panels. I mean, there are 4 days, so they have room for like 4 main panels every day. I'm not sure. I'm guessing like the Mandalorian will have one, Ahsoka will have one, but then for the other main panels, it will be interesting to see. Will there be an anniversary panel for Return of the Jedi? Will they do a future panel with Skeleton Crew and Possible and or Season 2 and everything, or will they split them up? And that's also what we've seen with the European celebrations. Since they are not as often as the US celebrations, can't count on, they did that the last celebration, because it's always a switch. I mean, the first celebration in London was the first time, and to be honest, that wasn't such a good thing, but it was in 2007. Yeah, and I mean, you had the panels with the original trilogy cast and things like that. Then you had Essen, which was once again like starting over. Kathleen Kennedy was there, and you had some, because it was the first celebration after Disney had bought.
At Essen, they announced the new trilogy films. So I'm wondering, will they announce a new trilogy of films at London this year? I wonder, will they be brave enough to announce that actually we are actually going to get our act together and we're going to bring new films out? we may see the Rian Johnson trilogy being announced. Maybe we're going to get back with the Wonder Woman director. Maybe she's going to come back.
That could really be something that they released unexpectedly. And I mean, if we go back to the last London celebration, it was all about Rogue One. So I wouldn't mind if they did some this is going to be a standalone film again. And we are so ready with it. It's time for Star Wars to hit the big screens again. But I have no idea which film would be even close. I mean, they have postponed the Rogue Squadron now. I mean,
and now that Wonder Woman has been sort of canned, axed, we might get her back on a board. So, we might see something like that. Obviously, with Ashley Eckstein coming over, it looks more than likely that we will see her universe on a booth there. Yeah. So that would be good to see. Nice new exclusive stuff to Celebration London. That would be absolutely wonderful for fans like myself. I'm wondering, will we get a makeup booth with Pat McGrath? She's London based, because I do remember when it was the last celebration in London, Emma Shipley was there with her collaboration of scarves, silk scarves that she did. She's a fantastic artist. So I'm hoping that we get to see some of these collaborations with booths there. I wonder what they do. They talked about the experience, the Mandalorian experience that they had. And I do remember in the last London, you walked around and you saw all the costumes and everything in London. So maybe we'll get something like that in Celebration in London.
What I really hoping as well for the merchandise. I mean, the last celebration in London, they did a good work with the merchandise. London has so many iconic images that you come to think of, and they did a lot of really good job. Like when you had the tube map with the Star Wars planets and things like that. So I really hope they will up the game again and not just do something generic.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars celebration now. Use the London iconography that we have and make something fun.
I think we'll see something like that come through. I think hopefully they are quite creative in that sense, or they certainly have been in the last European ones for sure. Obviously some nice artwork linked to some of the female characters. It might be quite a nice one of Mon Mothma. I bought a fantastic Leia one in Chicago, and I would love there to be a similar one of Mon Mothma because that would just offset it nicely. Maybe Royal Mail will do another set of stamps again. There's plenty of scope.
One thing though, I'm not sure that we will see as much of is the Disney connection. I mean, now when it's not in Anaheim, just next to Disneyland, it's quite far off to go to Paris for Disneyland. I have a feeling like Disney as an entity isn't quite as big in Europe as it is in the US. Here they come in more as the owner of Star Wars, not as their own things. I'm not sure that we will have like a Disney Star Wars future. And I mean, if you look at the audience of Celebration Europe, they are much less likely to be able to go to Disneyland or Disney World to experience Batuu and all of those things.
And I did see somebody announce a panel on one of the Facebook groups, and I am going to be there 100%, and it's Star Wars drag.
That's one for us.
I am all over that one. I will be there with bells and whistles on. And I shall sashay away and Sante, you stay. So whoever managed to get that one into one of the panels, well done, that person. And I shall be there. But I haven't seen the Japanese vegetable carving, but I'm hoping they'll be back again with a vengeance too. Anything personally that you're, apart from Celebration, that you're looking forward to in Star Wars this year?
We have talked about it. And I mean, what I'm looking for mostly is, it's not like last year when you had Kenobi and Endor that I was really looking forward and had a bit of a clue. I think I'm mostly looking forward to Skeleton Crew and see what it will be.
I'm putting this with a strong caveat at the minute. I have inquired about a stay at the Galactic Cruiser.
Yeah.
I called them last week, and the month that I would like to go on is currently not on sale. So I have to keep phoning every week to see when it is going to go on sale. So I hit the big 50 this year. I know I don't look that old, but I have said to my husband, that, he last year got to cycle his way around Europe. That was his midlife crisis holiday of a lifetime. And I took him away on a nice hot holiday to Sharm because he wanted to go there to snorkel and do all that sort of stuff. So I have said that those were your 2 holidays. So let me just tell you mine. We will be going to the Galactic Cruiser for my 50th, maybe not on my 50th or around then, but we will definitely be looking at going sometime soon. So yeah, ever since it was announced, I have been saving. COVID hit and it allowed me to save even more. And we are hoping to use our airline vouchers that we have as well. And so that also cuts the cost dramatically down. And we will literally be going to that and then coming home. Maybe one day at Universal or in the Magic Kingdom. But now that Splash Mountain is gone, my daughter is in mourning. I'm not sure we'll get there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Watch this space. This could be something that I'll be able to review and talk about.
Then we're really looking forward to hear everything about it.
That's what I'm looking forward to. As an aside to everything else, let's hope it comes off. So much to look forward to in 2023 Star Wars wise. We are very much looking forward to seeing everybody at Star Wars Celebration and chatting to us and coming up to say hello. We're hoping to have Planet Leia t-shirts made. Come up and
you
say
can recognize us, not just from our voices.
We really don't look like hairy, bearded Thanthas, honestly. We definitely don't. But we are hoping that we'll be there and we'll be giving out pin badges, etc. as well to anybody that comes along. So hopefully we'll see you there, and so much to look forward to for the next year. And it's going to be an exciting one, I think, isn't it?
It's going to be a great year again. I mean, every year around now is like a good year to be a Star Wars fan. It's been a long time since it was a bad year.
Thank you so much to everybody for listening to us and our ramblings.
Thanks for listening to Planet Leia. If you want to be a part of the action and stay updated on all the latest Star Wars news, visit fantatracks.com or check out the free Fantatracks app through the App Store to follow us on your mobile device. You can reach out to us and send in your listeners' questions by emailing radio@fantatracks.com. Comment, like, and share on any of our social media feeds at Fantatracks. And be sure to subscribe, leave a review, preferably a 5-star one, on Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice. And as always, thanks to James Sample for composing the Fantatracks intro and our Planet Leia opening music, and to Mark Daniel and Vanessa Marshall for our voiceover. Remember to tune in to Good Morning Tatooine live Sunday evening at 9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on Facebook and YouTube. Check out Fantatracks Radio on Fridays at 7 p.m. UK for new episodes of The Fanta from Down Under, Planet Leia, Desert Planet Disc, Starter Engines, and Cannon Podder, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. UK time for your weekly episode of Making Tracks.
From Johanna and I, thanks very much for listening. We love you.
You know.
Coming up next on Fantatracks Radio, it's Making Tracks.